in Python made easy. What we're going to cover during this session is to deal with a set of data, a small set of data. It's known as arrays in other languages. Let us just look at us, and let's start a new notebook and let's put our code in there. Colab will take its usual time, and in this process we have got a new file. To rename this particular file, I'm just going to click on the title, type what I want. Don't change the extension, particularly the primary name. A list is actually, let's make this very simple. It's a collection of strings, for example. It can be numbers as well, or can be right. So essentially we got a bunch of data, and we can ask it to be printed again. Usual process, it says connecting. It does allocate some space and memory for your application to run, and once it starts running, you will notice that the connecting goes away, and as you can see, you have to do this. Right, so what it essentially has done is it's printed this. Now you may want this alone, or this alone, this alone, and that can be accessible as let's say 0. So click at the first part. We'll print 3 now. So if you notice, we started the list with an index of 0. So those of you who are familiar with languages like Java or C will know that the arrays start with index of 0. Here it is similar, and the beauty of Python is that I could put multiple types. Here you got a number and a string in the same list. So list is another way to say arrays in other programming languages. So arrays are a way of storing similar set of objects, or a primary list. Okay, let's just put it this way: your to-do list for the day, or your the documents you're carrying, or any such thing which you are to do. Let's say you are building an application, the courses that a person attends. It can be math, it can be English, and let's say French. Right, so what we have accomplished here is we have got a list, and now, so great, now we got a list. Now what about this? Now you also seen that these values, once changed, you have to run them again for these values to be reflected below, because this variable got created before it, and therefore once you modify it, you will have to run this, and if this has to be updated, you have to rerun it. So that's one little thing that you have to keep in mind. The beauty of a Python notebook is that you can experiment with stuff. Now, this is typically used by a lot of data scientists and data engineers when they are exploring data. It might seem very complicated, and why not do that in Excel? But Excel doesn't quite cut it every time. So exploring data sometimes requires programming. So I would recommend programming as one of the ways you can explore data. If the data set is small, which is less than 10 lakh rows, you could still use Excel. But otherwise, I would recommend that you use a programming-based methodology, or use a tool specifically that's being built for that. So let's just add a new code block. Now let's say I want to go through and print each one of this. If you see this, you can see that there is some space which has been added here, and this is intentional. Without that, it wouldn't work. You need to add an indent here and consistently maintain that indent. So now we got math, French, and English. Let's see what this does. So it took math as the first one. It is contained in the list. So give me the first one in the list, print it. Give me the second one in the list. So it keeps on repeating this until there are no more. Right? Now, how does it do this internally? It actually looks for print right. So it gave me that the length is 1 less. So what we have looked at here is what is known as a for loop in Python. So you can repeatedly process whatever needs to be done. The same block of code gets again and again executed for this against this particular list. So for each item which is available in this, it executes whatever is a block here. Let me just add one more line here to illustrate the point. So the first one, it prints math, then it prints next one, then it prints the next one actually, which is this, then prints the string next one, and then it prints English again, because by then it's come back here. So it does this, then goes back and gets the next item from that list. So I hope this illustrates what a list is and how it can be used in Python.